The snowflakes are already starting to fall here in Livingston, New Jersey. We're expected to get 2 to 3 inches, so not a lot. But what that means is we'll have our second chance at plow operations. Really excited about that. But first things first, we have to get this Trax active, ready for delivery. My customer emailed me this morning. They're not working today, so they want to come down and pick up the car.
This vehicle is in demonstration mode. Connected by OnStar's high-speed 4G connection. Press the blue OnStar button to learn more.
I'm back here to get the exact miles. It's already been fueled, so it's gassed up. I just have to get it over to detail, have them clean it, and then find out what time the customer wants to come in. So we'll get one more on the road today. It has 16 miles on it. We'll put that on there. I want to show you something real quick about this Trax Active, right? So this has what's called the Artemis interior. So it's jet black Artemis. So if you look on the dash here, you have like a bronze trim, but you still have the yellow piping and the yellow trim on the seats, some of the yellow stitching. The seats are also a two-tone. They're like a gray-black combination. So you're still getting some of that, you know, sporty yellow accent, but the front is bronze. Again, the other option is jet black and all yellow. So like your vents here with the accents, this would all be yellow versus the bronze. But I think either way, very nice interior in these new 2024 Chevy Traxes. I left the key in it. Today, real quick, we're going to install a roof rack on the Chevy Traverse that I sold the other day. It was part of the negotiated deal. The customer wanted the pricing we were giving, including crossbars, because he does use those for different things. So we worked out the deal. We included them in the deal. Now, these are bolt-on. It's a very easy job to do. They even give you the tool you need with a torque spec on this little green indicator here on how much you should torque them when you put them on. I also decide to use my power drill sometimes with the little star bit just to get things going. I don't know what star bit size this is, so when you have it, you just have to figure it out with the set that you have. Again, it does come with the tool you would need. I also recommend you get a pair of these guys to take the little plastic plugs out that I'm going to show you in a second. The crossbars themselves are also labeled, so it makes it effortless. If you look, you have an arrow on there and it says right hand front, so we know the arrow needs to point to the front. That's the right hand side of the truck, that's the left hand side of the truck. Makes it very easy to decipher between the front bar and the rear bar. Now, the reason I use these is to get these little plugs out. You can see one here, you can see one here. So I'll put this in here very slightly just to kind of bend these tabs out like you see here. And then once you bend those tabs out, you can just basically unscrew it and it's going to come right out. But you got to remove this little piece here. Now, once you get all those plugs out, you're ready to actually install the crossbars. So to put the crossbars on, super simple. You're just going to line them up, right? You just put in one side at the far end there, make sure the holes are pretty much lined up, and then pop this side on. They fit right in, and then we're just going to install our bolts, again, 2 on each side for each crossbar. These bolts I like to get in, you know, kind of just start them by hand. This way you make sure you don't cross thread anything. And then once I get them in, I will power them down. And then we're going to use that tool with the torque spec to make sure they're correct. Again, once you get all those bolts in, what you're going to do is you're going to take the tool that comes with the kit and you're going to put it in and just tighten it until that black line hits that green line, just like that. And now we know we have the proper torque spec. We're just going to repeat that process 8 times. There is one last thing you want to do. Remember originally when I was putting those screws on the underside of the crossbars, there's 2 underneath each side from the bottom up. You just want to go around, make sure all those are tight as well. And then once you're done, you take your tool here and you're going to put that in the car. You're going to give this to the customer because if they ever need to remove the rack or take it off or whatever, they'll have the tool to do that. The last thing I'm going to do is just take a picture of the truck. This way I can text it to my customer, let him know his Traverse is ready for delivery. It's still snowing pretty steadily, but it's not really sticking. So I don't know if plow operations are really going to be necessary today. We'll see how the day pans out. For now, I just got an internet lead on this Honda Civic. Now, no photos online yet. We just took it in on trade. It's a 2015 with 70,000 miles on it. So the nice young lady wants to come in tomorrow to take a look at it. I said, I'll send you some photos. I'll send you our address so you can pop it in your navigation. You'll know exactly where you got to go. And we'll get you set up in a test drive in this vehicle tomorrow. I'm just kind of eyeballing it. I'm going to send her some pictures, like I said. And hopefully we sell this tomorrow. We'll see. This is actually a little ironic. I had a conversation through the comments earlier today, sort of like a little debate with somebody who was talking about how financing and leasing is not a smart thing and you should save up, pay cash for your car. And one of the things they mentioned is that they would buy like a 10-year-old Honda Civic. Coincidental, dude, that this just happens to be a 2015 Honda Civic that I have here today. But I was reminded of our back and forth. And there's tons of ways to buy a vehicle. There's thousands of different situations where maybe a lease would make sense, or a finance would make sense, or a cash deal would make sense. It really depends on how long you want to keep the car, what are you using the car for, what kind of car do you need. But what this person was saying is they'd rather buy like a 10-year-old Honda Civic instead of leasing a car or financing a car and having a payment and being in debt. So the question kind of becomes like, which one makes more sense, right? So if you spend 13 something thousand on this car, you pay tax and fees, you're gonna be somewhere around $14,500 to $15,000. If you leased, because I have a customer that we just did a lease quote on a Chevy Trax at $356 a month for 36 months with $2,000 down, that's putting them, hold on one second, let's do the math, at $14,800. So let's say you can buy a 2015, you know, a 9-year-old Honda Civic with 70,000 miles on it, or lease a brand new Chevy Trax for 3 years, and the price was the same, which one would make more sense? And no one really knows, right? Because the Honda Civic with 70,000 miles on it, as you're getting up in miles, you may have problems. You may not. At one point in my life, I bought a 4-year-old Chevy Cavalier with 78,000 miles on it. I drove that car to 191, didn't have a stitch of problems the entire time. But you just don't know. That's the risk you run on that end. On the lease side of it, the Trax, you would have paid the same amount and it's only for 3 years. So at the end of the 3 years, yeah, you have nothing, but during the 3 years, you also had nothing. You had virtually no maintenance. You had a vehicle covered by a warranty. So if anything did go wrong, it was covered. So there's pros and cons to both sides of that debate for sure. Out with the old, in with the new. My customer is here signing paperwork for her brand new Chevrolet Trax. She is getting out of the Jeep Renegade. We're happy to have a client go from Jeep to Chevy. That's always a good thing. Now to finalize this video, as you can see, the snow is not sticking to the ground. We were supposed to get 2 to 3 inches of snow today by 4 o'clock in the afternoon. It's currently like 2:30. So let me ask you a question. Are there devoted YouTube channels out there of people calling the weather industry scam artists? Is that a big scam? Because I gotta tell you, they're always wrong.